Hey, how's it going? My name is Faker, and today we're going to be doing a very quick Marvel Rivals tier list video. The actual definitive tier list, because this is what I've been seeing in top 500. So it's going to be really quick, and I'm going to be explaining exactly why I put certain characters in certain places. And again, I would like to say this is purely subjective, and these are the things that I've been seeing in top 500. But remember, it's always the player, not the character, that is able to determine what rank they will be at. For instance, Wolverine, team captain made Wolverine into the character that he is now and definitively made him popular. So hey, really is up to you to determine which character can be at which place. So with that out of the way, also I would like to point out that I am doing a giveaway in my Discord. So all you have to do is literally just join the Discord, and I'll have the giveaway for the Marvel Rivals Season 1. So if you guys would like to join that, make sure to check out the Discord in the description below. I'm always live on Twitch as well, so make sure to check my Twitch out at Faker_. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's start with Adam Warlock, right? Adam Warlock, I have been seeing a decent amount of Adam Warlocks in the top 500. Typically, I would put Adam Warlock in the A tier. Now the reason why I say that is because he actually has a damage reduction ability, which if you time it right, is extremely useful. I am a Psylocke main, so if I ever see Adam Warlock, I try to see whenever he uses his reduction ability, and then try to go in for the ult afterwards. But whenever he does time it properly, I can't even kill anyone with teammates. Like, a lot of the abilities are really useful to counter when Adam uses his abilities, especially when there's a team up with Adam Warlock, Mantis, and Starlord. The amount of reses that they have as a team is insane. They just continuously res, it's just over and over again. As long as the team isn't wiped out, they just come right back and boom, they just start the fight again. So it is extremely underrated, but he's a very good character. Moving on to Black Panther. Now Black Panther is a character that I do see. He is a character that I do see in Marvel Rivals, but in my opinion, he is in the low A tier. The reason why I say that is because a lot of people are simply not as skilled with him as they could be. And unfortunately, from what I've been hearing from the community, a lot of the playstyles around Black Panther easily get stopped because he has one reset counter, right? If you miss that reset counter, or if you are trying to go for an opponent and that shield, the opponent is getting shielded, and you try to dash to them, the market doesn't reset your dash. That's the main criticism that I've been hearing a lot of Black Panther mains talk about. So it really prevents them from excelling, because imagine if they're able to get the reset cooldown even after the shield. They would literally dominate. Like, they wouldn't have to worry about anything. They know that they will get the reset no matter what. That would put them in the S tier in my opinion. But because they're prevented by that, you really need to have a high skill ceiling, because you need to exactly figure out, okay, when did Magneto use a shield? When did Doctor Strange, use a shield? Like, things like that. You need to figure out like when to go in properly to make sure that you're able to get the kill. That's why I put him in A tier, and probably like the lower A tier. Moving on to Black Widow. So, Black Widow, I've literally seen one person play Black Widow. Everyone in top 500 probably knows who that exact person is. And basically, Black Widow, I would honestly put at C tier. I don't think any character like really should be in D tier, but I would put Black Widow in C tier, because she really, while she does get kills, first of all, her character doesn't one-shot anyone, but she does have potential to do some decent damage, and her ultimate does slow down the entire radius of wherever she ults. Honestly, she's just not impactful enough. Like, every single time I go against a Black Widow player, I always win, because of the fact that while she does get some kills every now and then, and maybe, in the kill feed it says 33 kills and 2 deaths or something like that, in the end, they'll still lose because they weren't they weren't able to create plays that was game-changing. All they did was create plays that slightly altered the gameplay, but eventually, it wasn't significant enough to win the game. That's why I put her in C tier. Moving on to Hulk. So Hulk is actually a very interesting character. I'm seeing so many really good Hulks. Like, if you play against a really good Hulk, it is really difficult to deal with. So I would honestly put Hulk. If you know how to, I would put Hulk in the like really high A tier. I would say, probably the highest of A tiers, because if you know how to play Hulk extremely well, he is almost unstoppable, right? You need to have another tank. You need to have another player to kind of like help you out, because you need to be the one that's causing chaos, but you need to be able to escape and not be a burden to your team, because what if you go in and you just immediately die? You can't do that, right? You need to go in at the right time to where you know that they won't be able to burst you down and then get out properly. So if you're able to master that, he could easily be an S tier, but I would put him in a conservative A tier, based on the average like the total amount of like Hulk players that I've seen. Moving on to Captain America. Now Captain America is also a very interesting character, because again, there are very selective players that are able to take advantage of Captain America and absolutely go ham with them, right? He has the potential to be extremely insane as well, but not many people know how to use him properly, the timings and whatnot, when to go with, which is why I'm putting him at a B tier, because his kit is really good. It's just, I don't know, like, I don't know how to describe it, but like, maybe it's because from what I've seen in top 500, but I really haven't seen a lot of Captain America, and the synergy isn't as powerful as Hulk. As we know, Hulk has an extremely good synergy with Iron Man and Doctor Strange. Captain America has a synergy with Thor that isn't as strong, right? It literally just buffs Captain America, which is why I put him at B tier. Moving on to the Cloak and Dagger. Now, Cloak and Dagger is also a very, I say like she's more underrated, because typically in higher ranks, Mantis, Luna, are the characters that are like, hey, we gotta pick these characters, they're really good. But I've been seeing more and more Cloak and Daggers, and I would say Cloak and Dagger is actually probably at the high A tier, or maybe the low S. That's what I would put her at. Like, Cloak and Dagger Ultimate is extremely good. It's a decent amount of range, and it's able to create an entry into sites and make plays. So I would say Cloak and Dagger is very, very good. Yeah, I would probably put it, like, honestly, it's distinguishable between Hulk and Cloak and Dagger. Either one of them would work. They're both in the same tier. Now, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is, everyone knows, he's a definitive S tier. His portals right now are almost game breaking, to the point where in specific maps, you're literally able to block off both exits, because there only are 2 exits in specific maps, and the enemy can't contest. They literally can't contest in overtime, and boom, you just get the 3rd point. It is so broken. His ultimate is also game changing. If you time it right, you can literally ult all 6 members. It's so good. His teleport is also able to angle so that Punisher or anyone is able to attack from the back while your team is pushing from the front. And he has a shield that's like extreme. It's a massive amount of health. I think it's like 800 or 1000, and is able to continuously be used with his basic attack, which also does an animation cancel with the whip as well, giving him 10 stat with every whip, which again, like, and the fact that he does a synergy with Hulk of all people is amazing. Like, he's busted right now. He's just way too good. Now, GROOT. GROOT, in my opinion, is also potential for a very, very high tier. But honestly, I would put GROOT right behind Hulk. I'd probably say, or maybe right behind Adam Warlock. I'd say GROOT is a really good tank, but again, like, a lot of these tanks aren't really like solo tanks. They're really good with each other, but they're not good as a solo tank. Doctor Strange, in my opinion, could literally be a solo tank and not have to worry. However, for GROOT, he could be a solo tank because of his walls and whatnot, but if you go against the right enemy, like, they will literally melt GROOT so fast. He will need someone else helping him out. Otherwise, he'll literally just melt. So yeah, that's why I would put him here. His ultimates are really good, very, very good. Unfortunately, it could get blocked by the shield. But regardless, Doctor Strange's ult can also be blocked by shield, so that's perfectly fine. But yeah, his ultimate is also really, really good. And his synergy with Jeff and Rocket is pretty nice too. It's not the best, but it's still pretty nice. Right, moving on to Hawkeye. Hawkeye, in my opinion, of course, definitely S tier. We all know he's S tier. His hitbox is ridiculously big. It's awesome. He's able to one-shot players. His ultimate, it's so easy to use. It's like you literally have the characters moving around and you just shoot the character that was in a timeline before that's like purpled, and boom, you just kill them instantly. So yeah, he's extremely powerful. Same as with Hela. We all know Hela is extremely powerful as well. I'll probably put Hela at the top. She does way too much damage. Like if you are able to aim properly with Hela, hit consistent headshots, all tanks, everyone in the game will die. Literally, like everyone in the game die. The only way I would think of countering, or not even countering, but like going against a Hela would be to have a decent amount of shields and to consistently target Hela. If your team is able to target the enemy Hela better than your team is able to target their Hela, then you will win. It's just that's how crazy it is that you have to target the Hela if you're going against one, like, or otherwise you'll lose. Like a good Hela will try to avoid being targeted, but still manage to get kills. So that's why I put her in S tier. Her abilities are way too broken. Now Ironfist. Ironfist, I know a couple of people play Ironfist in top 500. Honestly, he hasn't. Yeah, I haven't seen him being impactful. Like literally, if you like in top 500, there's a lot of good communications. Like if you literally just communicate well, he gets stopped really easily. Like I haven't seen a lot of good impact plays from Ironfist specifically, so I would honestly just put him in the B tier. However, again, depending on the character, depending on the person that plays Ironfist, you can always make him into an S tier character. You really gotta like know the timings and really gotta use his abilities, his deflect at the proper time. Otherwise, again, he will literally get bursted down so easily. Alright, Iron Man. So Iron Man, in my opinion, in the top 500, where characters do get banned, I would like to remind you guys of that, is S tier. Iron Man is definitely S tier. He is one of the most difficult characters right now to deal with because of the fact that he can literally be in the air all the time. He has a beam that synergizes with Hulk, and the fact that he is able to literally do, I don't know, like his gamma ray beam is able to do, I believe, like 220 DPS per second or 240 DPS per second, which if you're in the right position, you could literally just like be behind the enemy lines and boom, just wipe out everyone without even knowing like, wait, what just happened, you know? So yeah, he's extremely powerful. His ultimate is really, really good. It's one of the ultimates that literally can prevent, like, it's the one ultimate where Luna Snow has to be careful, because if she ults, she needs to move around everywhere because Iron Man can literally one-shot her even through her ultimate. So yeah, Iron Man, very, very powerful and super, super popular in top 500. Moving on to Jeff. Now Jeff, funny enough, I have been seeing a couple of really good Jeff players. But honestly, I would put Jeff in B tier as well, because again, while Jeff is really good, top 500, a lot of the assassins are immediately going to be killing Jeff. Like it's so difficult to stay alive as supports. But the better you get at it, the better you will, you know, the better rank you'll be at. But again, Jeff is just his game-breaking ability is his ultimate, which literally could kill everyone. But the fact that like he does, in my opinion, he doesn't create enough like sustainability for the team for him to be picked as a support, which is why typically a lot of people don't really like to pick him in top 500. If you ask anyone, it's like, yeah, I'd rather pick Mantis, I'd rather pick Luna, or I'd rather have someone other than Jeff as a support, because of higher sustain and whatnot. So that's why I would put him at B tier. Loki. So, Loki is another character that I do not like dealing with because I'm a Psylocke main. I would probably put Loki in. Probably put it right next to Adam Warlock. He's A tier. He's really good. If you're able to utilize his abilities properly, you will literally know how impactful he is because of his timings with his immortality, his ultimates, how he uses his ultimates. Like his abilities are really good. His one weakness, I would say, is the fact that like the cooldown duration for his immortality is very long, and the fact that like his turrets or his like other clones, it can easily be broken, not that big of a deal. And once people recognize that, hey, you need to break the clones in order to for him to significantly get weaker and do less healing and less damage, yes, he will. That's why like he might go down a tier. But for now, I'd say he's an A tier because a lot of people like still don't really know how to use or go against a Loki, and a good Loki is able to absolutely dominate the server. Just like it's crazy. All right, so moving on to Luna. Luna, in my opinion, is one of the best healers. I believe she has the most healing potential output. I would honestly put her as S tier. Like I seen Luna so many times in top 500, like, and a lot of people do ban her too. In top 500, people do ban Luna Snow because of how much healing she does. As a Psylocke main, I typically do ban her every now and then because, again, her ultimate literally stops like so many ultimates. There's only a few ultimates where Luna Snow cannot stop, such as Moonknight or Iron Man ult, things like that. But for the most part, it's so good, right? That's why she's simple to use. She can put Snow Guard on an enemy that's like an assassin or something, so that they get extra healing while you're not aiming at them. It's really good. She's really good. Now moving on to Majik. In my opinion, Majik is a really solid character. I would put Majik in the high A tier as well. I would probably put Majik, honestly, like right behind GROOT. The reason why I say that is because Majik is, she has a teleport, she has incredible sustainability, she's able to stay alive for a long time, and if you go against a good Majik player, it's gonna be hell. Like, she is able to survive for so long with the extra damage. She has the one-shot combo. The only weakness that I can probably think of is the fact that she, a lot of Majik players that I've noticed kind of just go by themselves. There's not really like much coordination, and the fact that like once she runs out of teleports and whatnot, and if like people communicate properly, it's kind of like Ironfist. I'm not gonna lie, the situation, because you just target her a little bit and boom, like she dies instantly. She doesn't have like a specific ability that she can like boom just instantly just disappear. So she is good, but I would say like she's definitely a character that you need to get a little bit more time in to make sure that she's like alive almost all the time. Of course, her ranking can change depending on the player, but yeah. Magneto. Okay, so Magneto is also he's a really good shield character actually. I've seen a lot of good players utilize Magneto well, but again, just because he has shields doesn't mean that he's a main tank. In my opinion, even Magneto needs to have a second tank. Like, once his shield gets bursted down, which can be broken by the way, I know a couple of people that actually didn't know that Magneto's shield could be broken, but yes, his shield can be bursted down. However, his this rectangular shield cannot be broken down. That's the one good thing, but it's such a short duration. So once those two go down, he will be an easy target to burst down. You just need to figure out the timing between the shields, between the two shields. But again, if you pair with Doctor Strange, he would be super good. But regardless, I would probably put him like right next to GROOT, honestly, like somewhere around here. Honestly, like he could also be up in the high A tiers, but probably say something around here would be fine. Now moving on to Mantis. Mantis is also an S tier. Arguably, she could even be in higher S tier because she has a ultimate similar to Luna, except the fact that she has a massive movement boost. So if you see a good Mantis player, you will literally see her ulting and just running at you. She has an extra, like a decent amount of extra bonus health, and she will literally run at the DPSs. She does an insane amount of damage, so she will just randomly ult, or I don't know, like the enemy team will ult, she'll run at you and like just kill you. It's just like that. So yes, she is very good. Her self-sustainability is very good as well. Healing output is not as high as Luna, of course, but again, she's a really well-rounded character. If you pair her with any other character, any other like decent healer, it's just so good to have her on the team. So yeah, very good. Now moving on to Moonknight. Moonknight, in my opinion, is pretty good. I would say in the higher ranks, honestly, I'd probably put Moonknight like even higher than Majik and Black Panther. The reason why is because I've been seeing a lot of really good Moonknight players that are able to output an insane amount of damage, like Punisher level damage. It is so good. Yeah, like Moonknight, like the damage output is absolutely ridiculous. So I would definitely put Moonknight at the top. The only weakness that I would say is his movement is very lacking, right? Sure, he does have the jump, and he does have like the, you know, that Moonknight cape where he's like flying around it with everything. It's just like, if you going against like a Black Panther or whatnot and he targets you actively, you will be useless. But if a good Moonknight is able to stay alive, his damage potential is ridiculous. His ultimate is one of the most strongest in the game, which is literally able to kill Lunas, everyone. So it's really good. Naymor. So Naymor is an underrated pick as well. I would say Naymor is actually even higher than a couple of these characters. I'd say Naymor is probably behind Hulk. The reason why I say that is because Naymor has an invulnerability, which is a pseudo like kind of like a counter to a lot of dive comps. He literally just become immortal, and just if you just ping the healers, hey, I need some healing, boom, he's just instantly back to full health. So yeah, it's very nice for him to have that ability. He has a projectile ability that does a decent amount of damage, and he has an ultimate that in the circle, the small radius, literally one-shots anyone. So very good. If you combo with GROOT, he is extremely good, right? So in the high ranks, I do see a lot of Naymors with his octopus and whatnot. It's just really hard to kill him. That's why I put him in the high rank tier. Now moving on to Peni. Okay, so this might be a little bit controversial, but in my opinion, in the top 500, Peni is arguably either slightly better than Captain America or worse than Captain America. And this is simply because of the fact that people still don't really know how to use Peni, and the fact that like she just isn't viable because your abilities are dependent on the position that you're in, and you get shield depending on, you know, if you're right next to the I don't know, like the bomb or whatever that she puts down, and then the webs that you have to stand on. So that's what gives her that extra ability amp and whatnot. But if you're in a position where you're attacking with Peni, which I do see a lot of people doing that, she isn't as viable. Like, she would literally be a battery to the enemy team for ultimates. Like, it's just a free ultimate charge. So that's why I'm putting her at a B tier, because if you're able to master her, sure, she could be an A tier or possibly even an S tier. But at the current moment, I would say B tier because it's just not necessarily anything game breaking that would put her in a higher tier. Moving on to Psylocke. Don't play Psylocke. She's really bad. Nah, I'm kidding. I main Psylocke, so I know how good she is. She's like I don't know. Depending on how you play her, she's able to become extremely broken. Like, if you haven't seen my guides on Psylocke and the gameplays against other streamers, definitely check it out. I do have the video in my YouTube channel, and I would. This might be a biased take, but like, I am seeing more and more Psylocke fans. But the way that I play her, like, I don't know. I feel like I have one of the highest potentials. I would probably put my Psylocke conservatively at a middle at the very least, or possibly even higher. But right now I'll just put it here because, again, Psylocke is able to go invisible. She's able to utilize her abilities to kill the assassin in the background. Remember, she's like one of the best, if not the best assassin in the game right now. So she can literally go invisible, kill the backline, and get out with her 2 dashes. So she has incredible kill potential. But again, she is a bit squishy even with the shield. So do be careful with that. However, depending on how you play her and the kit that she has, she's always going to be like in a high S tier, even in top 500. Now moving on to Punisher, I would say Punisher is also another character that's been rising up surprisingly in the top 500 gameplay. I would probably put Punisher in the A tier. I'd say Punisher is like somewhere here. He's a very good character. He's able to create a lot of plays. His ultimate is potentially game-changing with another pair with ultimates. And the turret setup with the Doctor Strange combo is also really nice. So I would say like somewhere between like where Moonknight is and Majik is, this is, I'd say, a very fair placement. And again, we can't forget about his shotgun as well. His shotgun is extremely useful, and his zipline literally gets you back into the fight super quickly if you set it up properly. So, and the fact that he can bunny hop. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but I made a TikTok about the fact that like certain characters can bunny hop, and that includes Punisher. So if you use his movement abilities properly, he'll be harder to kill. He has an insane damage output, and he has an ultimate that literally, like, of course it is slow, but if used in a good team fight, just burst on everyone. So yeah, that's what I would put him at. Moving on to Rocket, because there are a lot of characters. Rocket, I would probably put Rocket at the I don't know, like I'd say high B tier. I know there's a lot of A tier characters. He could definitely be an A tier, but from what I've noticed, I'd say probably B tier. A lot of times Rocket in top 500 is usually just paired up with Punisher for the sake of pairing up with Punisher or Bucky, which is why I put him there. He doesn't necessarily have the most healing, of course. Of course, he does have the infinite ability with Punisher and Bucky, which is really good. And his ultimate is somewhat decent because it does give you a power amp. It's just not enough, in my opinion, to sustain the team. But I will say his res is very useful. His res does come in handy. If you pair him with like another good healer like Mantis or Luna, yeah, he'll be really good. He'll be really good. You could shoot him up in like the A tier. But again, I'll put B tier for the sake of his specific character in the top 500. Scarlet Witch. Now, Scarlet Witch, funny enough, I think, honestly, I think Scarlet Witch does even less than Black Widow. Like, I don't know, maybe it's slightly more. But like, I really haven't been seeing Scarlet Witches in top 500. I don't think I've seen one Scarlet Witch in my gameplays yet. Yeah, she really hasn't been like shown. I've seen more Ironfist than Scarlet Witch, more Black Widows than Scarlet Witch. It's just her DPS isn't enough to kill characters. Like, she has, sure, she has the aimbot and her ultimate is really good, but again, she has way too many drawbacks for her to be viable. Spiderman is also a very interesting character. I'd say Spiderman would probably be in the highest B tier, right? The reason why I say that is because like a good Spider-Man player could absolutely dominate the lobby, but there's like one good Spider-Man, and we all know who that one specific good Spider-Man is, so I don't even need to name that person. But yes, if that person does play, and if like, because I've gone against him a couple times, yes, you gotta ban Spider-Man, otherwise he will dominate the lobby. But yeah, so like Spider-Man could have the potential, like any other character, to become S tier. It's just like, from what I've seen from the collective group of top 500 Spider-Mans, a lot of times they're not as impactful as they could be. Now, moving on to Snow Girl. Snow Girl actually, I think, has been increasing in popularity, so I would say Snow Girl might be somewhere between the middle B tier or the upper echelon of B tier, and the reason why I say that is because her abilities have an extremely high damage, and she's kind of like Junkrat from Overwatch. If you guys have played Overwatch, she does do a decent amount of damage. and I have seen her a couple of times. But again, like her playtime is really, it's really not that much. So I would probably put her like somewhere around here, in the mid to low B tier, because she does do a decent amount of damage. It's just, again, not as impactful as other characters could be. Now, Starlord. Starlord is a very, very popular character, risen up in popularity quite a bit since the game launched. I would probably put Starlord right behind Naymor. Like, actually, like, his ultimate is really good. It's aimbot, of course. That does an insane amount of damage from a very good distance. He can fly in his ultimate. He can fly just regularly as well. And he has his right click, which is able to make him invulnerable. And then it just dashes him, leaps him forward, backward, left, right. Very, very useful. Just incredibly awesome. He's a very, very good player that can be used right, and is a ability, like his ultimate is able to literally like initiate battles essentially, and also bait out ultimates. And the fact that like if you go against a really, really good Starlord, you'll know that he'll never die. Like he is so hard to kill with the right movement set and whatnot. He is incredibly good, incredibly good. Now moving on to Storm, I would probably put Storm in the lower B tier as well. I'd say probably higher than Peni. And the reason why is because I have been seeing a decent amount of Storm players. Sure, she does have the movement buff, but again, you have to be with the teammates, otherwise you won't get it. And her ultimate's really good and gives you that extra shield, so it's really hard to kill you. But again, she is, let's just say like she's not as impactful as other characters could be. She literally has an ability that's like infinite wind, but she has to reload her main weapon. And the fact that like she just, I mean, sure, she can fly infinitely, but her movement isn't the greatest. Like she's kind of slow in her movement. And if I'm going against her, I'm able to kill her like pretty easily. Just shut her out of the game most, if not all the time. So yeah, that's where I would put her. She does have moments where she shines, of course, with her ultimate, which is incredibly good. But other than that, like I'd say she's in the B tier. Now Thor, in my opinion, is in the lower A tier. Yeah, I'd put Thor in the lower A tier, somewhere around here. I don't know, maybe like a high B tier, but low A tier. That's where I would put them at, because Thor, of course, definitely has a really good matchup with Hela. But again, Thor needs to be able to scale properly with the right tanks and the right DPS. Otherwise, he's gonna get shredded down just like any other tank. It's just, he has his dash ability, which can literally prevent, it's kind of like a mini Wolverine, right? If you play him right, he could definitely be an S tier. But like I've been seeing him decently in top 500, and the way that he's played is like, it's almost like a sneaky, like pushing assassin kind of thing, where like he'll push you into the enemy team and just like burst you down, right? I've seen that happen to other people. I've seen it happen to me. So like, yeah, he's pretty scary. But again, his ultimate, he can literally be killed in his ultimate. A lot of people don't use his ultimate properly either, so that's why I kind of put him in the low A tier. But don't get me wrong, his kits are really, really good. Really good. Now Venom. So, Venom is another interesting character that I would put at an A tier. If you play him properly, he will literally never die. Like, you will literally never be able to kill this Venom because of how much sustainability and survivability he has. At one point, I believe his health can literally get up to like 2,000 plus. That's combining his shields and his ultimate, but it's so ridiculously tanky. But yeah, Venom is extremely good. If you guys didn't know, his ultimate is not meant to end opponents, but it's supposed to initiate a fight, because you will, depending on the enemies you chomp, you will literally cut their health into half, plus do an additional 40 damage. So that's how you use his ultimate properly. You want to initiate with his ultimate, and the fact that he gains bonus health from eating the other players. So it's just really, really good. Oh my goodness. And yeah. Moving on to Bucky. Bucky again is a solid A tier. I would put him probably at the highest A tier. Simply because of the fact that he's able to shut down a lot of characters. He has a lot of shield, a good bonus with Raccoon, and the fact that his ability is something that, timed right, is just dreadful. Like, he doesn't even need to get a kill. As long as he gets the assist, he can use his abilities over and over and over and over again within that 8-second time. It's like, again, it's so good. He is so good. Our last character is Wolverine. So, Wolverine I have been seeing in the higher tier. I've been seeing a lot of players play Wolverine, and they do really well. Which is why I know a lot of people in the previous tier list put him at D tier. But now, based on my personal preference, I would say he is at an A tier. Not just the lowest A tier, I would actually put him above. I'll probably put him above Loki. Yeah, I put him like in the middle of the A tier. Like, he is extremely good. Like, he is very, very impactful. He's one of the best. I'd say he's extremely deadly whenever a good Wolverine is able to hide and just kind of like kidnap the tanks. Again, his abilities, like his attacks, do health percentage as opposed to specific like 20 damage or something like that. So that's why it shreds the tanks down so fast. And the fact that like his ultimate has a radius, right? It's not just like the characters he picks up, it's the damage that he does when he lands down. It's so much to the point where like, yeah, like you will see Wolverine's getting like 3-4 kills with just his ultimate because of how good of an ultimate like it is. And also the fact that like the timing of the ultimate, of course, like it's good, but it's not the best. But a good Wolverine is able to use that to exponentially increase their kill count. So yeah, again, like I would put him at the middle of the A tier. He's gotten so much better. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's a very, I try to make this as quick as possible for every single character, but this is my opinion on how the tier list is over at the top 500. Again, I'm live on Twitch over at Faker_, and if you guys would like to join for the Battle Pass, make sure to join in the description below. It's over at the Discord. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.